I don't know how long this video is going to be, and honestly, I don't even care because I'm a little bit agitated that I am here again with this same type of subject matter because people refuse to learn their lessons. But for you, person watching, to understand why I'm a little bit agitated and why I'm coming off as a little bit annoyed, I got to take you back a couple months to a young man named Trey Reed, who is unfortunately no longer on this earth. And at the time of everybody finding out about it, it was that uncomfortable situation where you have to think to yourself, oh my, somebody felt like the best course of action was to take their own life, and they did it. And unfortunately, they are no longer on this earth, and a family is sad. Maybe some friends are sad. And you would think in that moment, it would be a conversation maybe that could have people talking about mental health, because I don't care how much somebody tries to trick you. Mental health is very important. How you view yourself and you view the world and what you feel inside here matters. And I hope everybody is doing a good job with their mental health. No, I don't care about your money. No, I don't care about your fitness. I don't care if you veiny. I don't care if you got a BBL. If you not right up here, then it's a problem that I hope you get fixed. But for some reason, that conversation is a little bit too complex for these stupid people who run around TikTok. Because if you remember, they was running around saying, no, we're going to believe a story about a random person saying that he's the cousin lying about information. Then that fell apart. Then these motherfuckers were swearing up and down based off of nothing but a live stream from some bald bastard that, oh, the mother told me missing organs, missing bones, all of this extra shit. And then that story died off. Then they held a protest where they didn't barely even acknowledge Trey Reed. They were sitting there promoting all the other shit that they got going on, thinking that if they just weave in his name so casually, it could make it seem like we there and we care about this. Then somewhere in the middle of all of that, people started saying, I got secondhand information from the family about the second autopsy. The second autopsy came out, and I made a video around Christmas time saying, hey, in case nobody give a fuck, they don't have the second autopsy. The family doesn't have access to a second autopsy. So that would mean all these people who are sitting here saying they got information about this and they got information about that, they lied, because it was better for them to come up with fan fiction than it was to actually take in a scenario where unfortunately somebody took their life. It is a sad situation. I think anybody with a heart could understand it. But when you look at that situation and you decide to say, oh, you know what's even better? A little fan fiction about white people celebrating being white for, I guess, 150 years, because in these dumbasses' minds, that's the only amount of history that white people got is 150 years. So they're going to celebrate it by just taking out one random black person out the mix. Oh, and yet all this time has gone by. All these months have gone by, and these people have not shown proof of that. You have not shown proof of a celebratory ritual where white people get around and they just rub on all their white, pasty, creamy skin and they say, ooh, oh, I know how to celebrate being white. Let me just take out that random black person over there. Oh, that makes so much sense. You spent so much time lying that when truth came out about how a family who's grieving the loss of a family member doesn't have access to the thing that you were lying about, it made you look stupid. And what did you do? You put the topic down. Trey Reed don't matter anymore. Trey Reed's not a topic for these people anymore. They swore up and down what they had was true, and then when it was a lie, they just stopped talking about him. Why am I bringing this up? Well, because as I said earlier, we are here again, where a black man is unfortunately no longer on this earth, and it's still early. Let me make this perfectly clear here. It is still early, but so far, the police have said it's an investigation. They're investigating it as a, which means if more information were to come out about his movements and other people's movements, it may change to somebody might have whacked this dude. But unfortunately, somebody discovered a body, phoned it in, and the police are actively investigating it, which means we should stop here. Right? Wrong. Because when you go on TikTok, you get this.
Kyle from Marietta, Georgia was at Fair Oaks Park. A Georgia State student was lynched on February 18th, 2026. The police, they aren't cooperating, and they ruled it as a Kyle's death as a. So he got up in a tree and tied. Are you serious? You want us to believe that? But they think we're that dumb. But we not dumb. We need to be made aware and stay woke. We're walking around like and slavery happened 50, 60, 100 years ago. No, it's happening today. And the news outlets still aren't covering our stories. So if you see this video and you see any other video about Kyle and you live in Atlanta, we need to spread the word about what's going on, because our kids are living in Atlanta and Tennessee and the surrounding areas of Marietta, Georgia, and Stone Mountain, Cobb County, Marietta, Georgia. I literally was there. I worked in Stone Mountain, 2 days ago. I was passing Georgia State a couple days ago. Kyle's story could have been my story or your story or your daughter's story or your son's story. And if we don't spread the word that the news won't cover our stories, and we don't start covering our stories ourselves and covering ourselves in the blood of Jesus and standing up and making ourselves aware, this is going to keep happening. I'm not going to give up hope that will stop happening. I'm just going to pursue harder on lynchings to stop happening. And by spreading the word, that is a fraction of what I can do. That's a fraction of what you can do, especially if you live in Atlanta. Spread this word about Kyle's.
What do you mean a black man was in Marietta, Georgia, and the news isn't covering it? Are you kidding me right now? Like, my stomach is just, feels like it's turning inside out, low key. And a couple of days ago, I had to drive to Stone Mountain, and my mama said, girl, you better be careful. That's where the Grand Dragon is. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely aware. I said, to be honest, they're everywhere.
Hey. Atlanta, Georgia, a black man was just lynched at Fair Oaks last night. Hey. Fair Oaks, Marietta.
So they found a black man in Marietta, Georgia, and the only information that I've been able to find about it is that it is being investigated as a potential suicide. And I just think that's crazy, because as soon as they find a black person, the first thing they assume is that it was self-inflicted. I don't even believe it when prison mates, black people, in jail. I feel like it's like making a mockery. If I ever took myself out, you would never think that it's because I not much information out. I'm not going to say that he didn't, but I'm also not going to say that I believe that he did. If I'm being honest, I am shook that people are still 26. Like, I was just appalled when I saw it. I said, there's no way. And I'm not saying that it wasn't self-inflicted, but again, I don't believe that it was, because in 2026, I just do not see a black person wanting to hate themselves when there are other ways to get going. So if you're in Marietta and you know what's going on, report in the comments, because I'm honestly very interested to know what's going on behind this.
I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. They find it. I'm in Georgia. I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't know if the police in on it. I don't know if it's white people doing it. I don't know who it is. But every time me and my folks out, we got them things. And if something's sketchy, I'm shooting first. I don't care. I'm shooting first. All right? Y'all all need to get like that, because I ain't got time to be getting... I'm a spray. Everything.
Understand, black men don't themselves. If black men were going to take their lives, the last thing they would probably do is themselves. Another man was found in Marietta Park, Georgia, 21-year-old. Right now, they are not releasing the name. And right now, they are investigating it as about 5 people last year. And guess what? They were all said to be as well. And let me tell you this, it's not a coincidence that all the time where these hangings are occurring, that it's towns that have been historically labeled either sundown towns, or they have a history of simply black people.
And guess what the authorities said? You guessed it. They said he unalived himself. Let me tell you something as a black person. And first of all, our suicidality rates for black people are the lowest of any race.
Can you imagine how much you don't care about somebody's mental problems or the fact that somebody took their life for you to play winner chicken dinner with the statistics on which race takes their life the most to the least. The funniest aspect about all of this are the select people who are saying, nah, black people don't do that. Black men don't do that. Oh, no way a black man could do that. You are trying to rationalize somebody else's mental health for your own comfort. Wow, what a slap in the face to all of these people who struggling to maintain a little bit of their self-esteem, and they teetering on the edge between what they want to do and what they think is the best course of action, because you got people who want to better themselves, but they need that push, whether it be from themselves or somebody else. And what does it say? Because I mentioned this before. What does it say about a collection of people that somebody could maybe take their own life and they decide to ignore any aspect about somebody's mental health and decide, fuck it, we ball. Let's just say no black person is capable of this. Fuck it. Let's come up with some random scenario where, hey, I wasn't there, but if I was this dude, I just would have been shooting at anybody. That don't make any fucking sense. You are willingly choosing to ignore an aspect of the conversation for your own comfort. And while you do that, a body's in the ground and a family's grieving that body in the ground. It's proof that I've been saying it for months. People don't care. But allow me to read so that I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Family says missing man out of Atlanta found dead in Cobb County. Since the discovery, people have been discussing the death online, with many referring to it as racially motivated. Based off of what? I have no idea. I'm guessing because of where it was. I believe off the tip of my head, it was in Marietta, Georgia. I'm guessing. I don't know anything about Marietta, Georgia. So if you live in Marietta, Georgia, help me out here. Maybe it's just a bunch of hillbilly whites, and every time they see the color brown, they launch into an investigation to get them out of the city. Maybe. I don't know. I don't live there. But because I got TikTok investigative journalists telling me that everything is a racially motivated conspiracy, maybe, just maybe, it's all worth a damn. The family of a man who was reported missing out of Atlanta said that he was found dead in Cobb County Park. Cobb County Police said officers were called to Fair Oaks Park, 1465 West Booth Road at around 9:46 a.m. after receiving a 911 call about a dead person in a wooded area of the park on February 18th. Police said witnesses reported seeing him enter the wooded area alone on Valentine's Day at around 4:28 p.m. So this man could have potentially been dead for all of these days, almost a full week, because I'm recording this in the afternoon of the 20th of February, and this is just now starting to circulate into the ether, and people are deciding to ignore everything and just go straight to stupid. Okay, detectives found no evidence indicating that anyone else was involved. There were no signs of foul play. Police said that the person was a 21-year-old man from Atlanta but would not release his name. Reports had been circulating online about a man from Atlanta who went missing, who matched the description of the man found in the park. 11 Alive reached out to the Atlanta police, and they confirmed that a man named Cobb Basinga was reported missing on Sunday, February 15th. However, neither Cobb County nor Atlanta police would confirm that the man found dead in the park was Basinga. So there's the possibility that we're operating with two different people. Who knows? And maybe I'll wait just a little bit longer so that I don't have to come back and say, hey, it wasn't this person, it was a completely other person. I feel as though I can dedicate time to waiting because it's important to dot the I's and cross the T's before you burp out a take online. Wouldn't that be some shit for people to figure out? The Cobb County Police Department released this statement when asked if they are the same person. Out of respect for the family and the sensitive nature of this incident, we are not releasing the individual's name. Our focus remains on supporting the family and ensuring the investigation is handled appropriately. Man, these sound like a bunch of white supremacists. 11 Alive's Chase Howell spoke to the family of Basinga, and they confirmed that he was the man found dead at the Cobb County Park on Wednesday morning. Since the discovery, people have taken to discussing the man's death online, with many referring to it as racially motivated, despite police reporting that there is no evidence of foul play. The family said that they are aware of the growing discussion online regarding Basinga's death, but they are more focused on making preparations to say goodbye. Right now, online speculation is the least of our worries. We are focused on burying our son and are happy to have him found. Cobb County Police said that they are still investigating the case pending the medical medical examiner's final autopsy. We understand that incidents like this can cause concern within the community. The Cobb County Police Department takes every death investigation seriously and conducts a thorough review of all available evidence before making any determinations. If any new information were to emerge, the investigation would be updated accordingly. Oh, so you have a family that's hearing all this dumb shit said, but they're not paying attention to it because they have to grieve. They have to do the important thing. They have to honor the life of their fallen family member. You have a police department dedicated to figuring out what's going on. You have a community that's concerned, but hoping that this is not some random spree of somebody deciding, hey, we're going to take this person and we're going to string them up and then leave them there and have a community and panic. And all the while things are processing as they should, because this is not a fucking TV show. You got dumbasses just saying shit for the vibe, for the trend, for the haha, for the likes, for the shares, to be viewed as somebody who maybe cares about the scenario, but if it don't match your fan fiction, you drop the body and you move on to the next one. Can we please? Maybe we could sit back and wait for the autopsy. Maybe that'll be the thing. Maybe that'll be the thing to get people to look in the mirror and realize something's amiss here. And it ain't with anyone else but the people who decide to come up with their own story, because their own story is somehow better than reality. You know, some people like to escape from the problems of their life. Your job, your fucking money not right, your family not really looking at you as a potential breadwinner of the future. You ain't got no girl, you ain't got no man. You know, life's a little bit not right for you. So the only thing you can do is go to your imagination land. But the problem with your imagination land is that you're using real bodies in real life. And when you do that, you run the risk. You could be right. You could. But you could also be wrong. And I'm still agitated that these same motherfuckers who swore in the ether that, hey, Trey Reed has got missing bones, missing organs. They stole it from him to celebrate being white. These same people haven't heard from him about this subject since. Some of these motherfuckers are selling TikTok merch from the TikTok shop on their fuck-ass TikTok account. They're not really dedicating time to caring about Trey Reed because they didn't care about Trey Reed. They didn't care about this man. They didn't care about anything about him. They cared about coming up with a story so that people could look at them as a journalist who gives out information for people to understand, when it's nothing but bullshit. It's bullshit that upsets me because it pertains around distracting from understanding a young man and his mental problems. And the more time goes on in regards to Trey Reed, the more I've just had to come to the realization that even if that family has access to that autopsy, it's really not up to them to give it to the public. That was really for them. That was so that they could find peace. Motherfuckers online, regardless, are just gonna move on to the next thing. They're not really gonna focus on anything. They're not gonna fight for justice. They're just gonna move the fuck on. And if this man took his life, well, congratulations, they didn't already move the fuck on to the next one because it wasn't juicy enough. It didn't stay in the algorithm long enough for them to make a little bit of coin and for them to dedicate time to having fun talking about a corpse all day, acting as if they step outside, they're next. And now we're here again, where these same people who are burping out their ridiculous takes are hoping to be right. And you know what? For the sake of the fuck of it, I hope you're right too. I hope it's a racially motivated thing where they find 2, 3, 17 white people going into the woods right after this dude, or going into the woods before him and waiting, and they just jump him. And then they string him up. And then they all disperse, conveniently not being able to be seen by anybody. I hope that's true. I hope you get your fanatical, racially motivated fan fiction. Because if you don't, much like with Trey Reed, you show a clear example of how much you don't care. You show everybody that it ain't really about caring that young black men are being lynched. It's more so about you motherfuckers coming up with a story and hoping that it sticks. Because if it's not true, this young man just took his life, you motherfuckers are gonna move on to the next one. And the conversation around mental health, especially for the African American male, will just be nothing more than a joke that motherfuckers will never truly understand, or talk about, because reality is often embarrassing and too dark to talk about for some people. So it's better to come up with a random story. That way you feel a little better deep inside. Fuck your feelings. It's about up here. And I'm going to say this like I've said many other times, and then I'm going to turn this off. And you can like, share, subscribe, whatever. It's up to you. I hope you watching this are okay. I hope up here you are okay. I hope up here you are safe. I hope up here you are structured, because this matters. Your mental health matters. I don't care about what it is in terms of possessions that you have. I hope up here you are doing okay, because to me, I could be the odd man out. You could make fun of me for it. You could call me a loser for it. I don't give a fuck. I hope up here, everybody watching this is doing okay. And that's all that matters to me. Goodbye.